Starting at number 10, we have palace mosque. Now you'll find in the hadith that it is said that the mosque would be like palaces. Muslims believe that even though the Prophet had said that any house of Allah should be kept simple, mosques over time became more and more grandiose, with huge domes, marble floors, lavish carpets, and all sorts of fancy fixtures. The prediction at number 9 was that Pharaoh at the time of Moses will be found. Now there's great debate as to the identity of the Pharaoh in the time of Musa or Moses. However, it is believed that based on the Quran, it was Ramses II that was Pharaoh at the time. Now the Quran and the Bible state that the Pharaoh was drowned in the sea. However, the Quran does differ from the Bible, where it says that the body of the Pharaoh was saved as a sign for future generations. Now the body of Ramses II had survived in a mummified form and was discovered in the year 1881 among a group of other royal mummies that had been removed from their original tombs because they were fearful that people would try to steal the bodies. So because of this, Muslims view this as an accurate statement in the Quran. Number 8, the conquest of Mecca was also predicted. Now it was only 6 years after the Prophet Muhammad had moved to Medina that he left for Mecca, which is spelled M-A-K-K-A, also spelled M-E-C-C-A, and he went there for a brief pilgrimage. However, the Meccans stopped him and a peaceful treaty was eventually made after some negotiations. And now some articles of the treaty were objected to by believers, but the verses in the Quran that were revealed following the treaty describe it as a manifest victory. It says, "In truth, God fulfilled the vision of his messenger. You will surely enter the sacred mosque if God wills, in full security. You will have your heads shaved, your hair shortened, and you will have nothing to fear. He knew what you knew not, and he granted besides this near victory. He it is who sent his messenger with guidance and the religion of truth, that he may cause it to prevail over all religion. God is enough for a witness." And then 1 year later, the Muslims performed a minor pilgrimage, and then a year after, they conquered Mecca. Number 7 is the triumph of the Byzantines. So the Byzantine, or the Eastern Roman Empire, and the Persian empires were superpowers at the time. Now it was during the years when few believers were actually persecuted in Mecca that the Persians defeated the Byzantines. They conquered places like Aleppo, Antioch, as well as main Syrian provinces, and also Jerusalem. And the Persian conquest went on to Egypt, and they reached as far as Tripoli in North Africa. Now the following verse in the Quran, which were revealed at that time, told of this victory of the Romans over the Persians. And it says, "The Romans have been defeated in a land close by, but they after their defeat will be victorious within 9 years. He helps to victory who he wills. He is almighty, all compassionate." And that's found in Al-Rum, which is Surah 30 and verses 1 to 5. I just sort of shortened that there for you. Then Heraclius, the Roman emperor, attacked the Persians and beat them within a few years. The Mongol invasion comes in at number 6. Now the Prophet Muhammad is believed to also have predicted the Mongol invasion, saying these words, "The hour will not come before you fight against the people with red faces, small slant eyes, and flat noses. They wear hairy leather boots." The prediction of tall buildings comes in at number 5. So the Prophet mentioned that there would be signs forewarning the approach of the last days. It was said that barefooted Bedouins would be competing in building tall buildings. And like today, if we look in the Arabian Peninsula, we can see that Arabs who used to be herders of camels and sheep are actually really competing to make tall towers. You can find some in Saudi Arabia, as well as extremely tall buildings in other various Arab-speaking places over in the Middle East. Government forms were also predicted. Now the Prophet Muhammad is also said to have predicted the forms of government after him. So he said this affair began with the prophethood as a mercy, then it will be mercy and caliphate. Afterwards it will change into a cruel monarchy, and finally into an iniquity and tyranny. It's believed he also prophesied saying, "Surely the caliphate after me will last 30 years, and afterwards it will be a cruel monarchy." And then at number 3 is the prediction of Fatima's passing. The Prophet is believed to have foretold that Fatima would join him first after he died. Now before his death though, he called his daughter Fatima to his bedside and told her that she would be the first among the family to join him after his death. And then, yep, Fatima joined her father 6 months later. Then at number 2, the Prophet Muhammad also informed the Muslims that a false messiah would come and misguide the people. And also a detailed description of the Dajjal was given. He said to be blind in one eye, and also said that the Dajjal's right eye would look like a grape. Also Dajjal's left eye would be defective and also green in color, and then his complexion would be reddy white. He also describes Dajjal saying that he would have a prominent forehead as well as a wide neck, and he would be a short person but also very powerful with a hunch on his back. He would walk with his feet apart, so it won't be like a normal person walking. He'll also have long, curly, and thick hair. And it's also said that he would not have any children. And the final prophecy is the prophecy of the end of the world. So a considerable part of the Quran talks about events in the last days, right? And the Quran describes how the world will be destroyed and then rebuilt again, and how dead people will be raised and gathered into the place of mustering. And after being judged, they'll go either to paradise or to hell. And the Quran also gives very detailed descriptions of what paradise is like, as well as what hell is like. We have enmity among Christians. So enmity among Christian sects until the day of resurrection was a prophecy, and it's in Surah Al-Ma'idah verses 14, and it says, "From those who call themselves Christians we took their covenant, but they have abandoned a good part of the message that was sent to them. So we planted amongst them enmity and hatred till the day of resurrection, when they discarded Allah's book, disobeyed Allah's messengers and his orders, and transgressed beyond bounds in Allah's disobedience. And Allah will inform them of what they used to do." For number 9, the Prophet Muhammad shares a prophecy that his religion would prevail over all others. And Allah has said this to him: "It is He who has sent His messenger Muhammad with guidance and the religion of truth, Islam, to make it superior over all religions." You can find this info in several surahs in the Quran. Al-Taba 9:33, then there's Al-Fat 48:28, and then there's Al-Saf 61:9. There's also a prophecy that rain will stop and plants will die, and this is going to happen in the 3rd year prior to the Antichrist. A third of the rain will not fall, and then the next year 2/3 will not fall, and then in the year of the Antichrist there's going to be no rainfall. And many Muslims believe that these predictions appear to be coming to pass right now, as climate change actually alters the patterns in rain in the Middle East as well as different parts of the world. Number 7, let's talk about economic sanctions. In the Hadith Al-Bidayah wa Al-Nihayah, page 47, it says, "The people of Iraq and the people of Syria and the people of Egypt will suffer from economic sanctions imposed by those of European descent. Then the time of the Mahdi will come, and he will establish justice, a strong caliphate, and there will be an abundance of money." The 3 trials come in at number 6, and there's a prophecy that these 3 trials will hit the Muslim world before the Antichrist appears. There's going to be the trial of retreat and war, and then there's going to be the trial of false happiness, and it will come from a man, a descendant of the Prophet Muhammad, but he will not be a good person. And then people will resolve their differences with a weak and unstable leader, as he's called. And then the next, there's going to be catastrophe that's going to hit every person in the Muslim world. Now when people start thinking that it's over, it'll hit them again, and at the end they will be divided into 2 groups. One group is going to be those who have pure belief, and the other group those who are going to be filled with hypocrisy. And then when this happens, it's said that the Antichrist will appear any minute. And that's from the Hadith Al-Bidayah wa Al-Nihayah, page 53 to 54. Halfway to number 5, there's a prophecy of Israel. So the development of the area of modern day Israel means that the city of Medina is about to fall apart. And then the falling apart of Medina means that the Great Battle of Armageddon is about to happen. And then the Great Battle of Armageddon means that the city of modern day Istanbul is about to fall to Muslim rule. Now when it falls, that means that the Antichrist also is about to appear. And that's found in the same Hadith, page 65. Number 4 brings us a prophecy of lightning being increased. So it said that lightning strikes will increase until it becomes common for people to be killed by lightning strikes. Now that's not a common thing. It's very rare to be struck by lightning. As a matter of fact, they do say that it is more common to be struck by lightning than it is to win the lottery. I hope I ain't one of those people get struck by lightning. No. That just looks so painful. Then there is the prophecy of Yajuj and Majuj, aka Gog and Magog, and they will be released. Their army will come swarming down from every place to kill and destroy what they find. Now the people will set up defenses in their cities, and it said that Jesus will lead his followers to take up a defensive position in the mountains. And when they think that they have killed those on earth, Yajuj and Majuj will then try to kill those in the air. And then it said that Jesus and his followers will pray, and God will send disease that will kill Yajuj and Majuj. And then heavy rain is going to fall on the earth, and the earth will produce again. And Yajuj and Majuj are described as having round faces, very small eyes, and black hair with reddish and yellow highlights. And that's found in the same hadith, page 132 to 133, as well as 134. Now number 2 brings us a man from Ethiopia. So in this prophecy, a man will appear from the land in the area of modern day Ethiopia, and he will actually tear down the Kaaba. Now the Quran and Islam will be lost until there are groups of people with the elderly among them who will only carry a very small memory of the oneness of God. Now when the end time comes, there will not be a single person left on earth that calls on Allah's name. Also it said that idol worship will return to the Arabs, and that's also found in the hadith Al-Bidayah wa Al-Nihaya, page 136, page 28 to 29, and also page 45. And the final prophecy is fire. So the fire will appear from the bottom of Aden in modern day Yemen, and it will drive people as they try to run away from it to the land of modern day Syria. Then it said that there's going to be a horn that's going to be blown, and everyone will be left in complete terror. And you can also find this in the same hadith, page 143 and page 175.